The Lions limp to victory in a bruising battle at the Gabba. Nat's back and he inspires the Dockers to victory, and the Blues spoil the Bombers' birthday party. Hello and welcome to the round so far, brought to you by AAMI. I'm Riley Beveridge. This is Kane Corns. Kane, will start at the Gabba tonight where there was carnage. Injuries galore, but the Lions got up.
Yeah, they did, and what was a really scrappy game. Here's the final moments of this. It would be relief for the Brisbane Lions coming off that long road trip to Perth. I think they got in on Monday, so the preparations would have been a bit disrupted. And then there's the injured Saints players. They were down to one on the bench, which we'll get to in a second. So the Lions well and truly entrenched themselves in the top four. They're 10-3. Nothing to write home about that performance, but some games you just got to win, and they were good enough to do that, particularly in the second half.
It was a 3-point margin at three-quarter time, but they had enough class when it mattered. 3-1 in the final term.
Yeah, so it was 33 entries to 15 in the second half, 19 scoring shots to 6, and that's McCluggage. He was enormous for the night. What a player he's turned out to be. He actually started that at the stoppage, followed up and kicked a goal. He's kicked 8 goals for the year. Still a little bit inaccurate. This is the Saints responding. Just thought they were a little bit Max King conscious tonight. You can see 3 opponents on him there, and Butler kicks this goal. This is all in the final quarter, some important moments here. And there was some defensive lapses from St Kilda. Rayner probably should have taken that mark, and then Danaher won't kick many easier goals than this. And Cam Rayner, just the carnage he causes. Like, he doesn't get a touch for that, but you just know he's there. He comes barrelling through. He's been really important, his power and strength. And Leek McCarthy ices the game for Brisbane, and as I said, it would be a relief for Chris Fagan because it wasn't the most polished performance.
A few worries for the Saints. They've only got a 6-day break before they play Essendon next Friday night. Mitch Owens had a concussion, Dan McKenzie had a concussion, and Zach Jones didn't finish the game with a hamstring injury.
Yes, it's just one of those games. You have them from time to time. He's a good young player, Owens, and unfortunately he had to go off for the concussion test. You can see why. This was nasty. I mean, what a mark that is. He's been really important on the wing. McKenzie gets back hard and pushes forward, is really good in the air. He's been one of the most improved players in the comp. So there he is there. Looks to be okay, but we'll miss the 12 days. And Jones had a bit of a groin and a hammy as well after he came back and has been important recently as well. So as you say, 6-day turnaround, none of those players will play.
Dane Zorko as well for the Lions. They didn't get through this one unscathed. He hurt his hamstring. Hard to see him getting up, even though they do have the bye next week in a fortnight's time.
Just been chasing his tail all year, hasn't he? Had that Achilles, been able to hang in there, but has had no real continuity, clearly, with his training. He probably hardly trains at all with that Achilles that he's had, and has been limping around on game day. Hasn't affected his performance significantly, but clearly the lack of preparation and training has caught up with him at his age. You'd think they'd be pretty conservative with him.
We'll head to Optus Stadium now. It was a tense battle between Freo and Hawthorn. The Dockers got over the line. You want to highlight how they got over the line?
Well, I reckon they're the best team in the comp from stoppage. So that was Carlton. Now, Fremantle in recent times, probably the last month, have just taken that mantle. The average scores in the competition, 31 points from stoppage. Fremantle's last 3 weeks, they're scoring 48, and it was 53 today. And a lot of this damage was done by the midfield, which is just full of workhorses, but they're better than that, and we'll get to one of those in a moment. But out of the centre bounce, this was what won them the game, because once again, Hawthorn really challenged them with their pressure and their defence. There's Akers before he went off with a hammy injury. So just Sean Darcy in the midfield that they've got around them, the best in the comp at scoring from stoppage in the last month.
So that's how they get you. This is when they get you. They've been behind at half-time in 5 straight games, but look at that Q3 differential. Plus 71 in the third quarter in their last 5 weeks, and they were at it again today against the Hawks.
It's amazing, isn't it? And you think, well, glass half full, if you can fix that up, they're going to be really hard to beat. You wouldn't want to rely on that later on in the year and with finals coming up as well. It's an amazing record, minus 72, as you said, to half-time, and plus 71 after half-time. It's important. As I said, it was just an inefficient performance today, so they were plus 107 in disposals. They had 458 disposals for 48 entries. Really inefficient. 220 handballs. That was a result of Hawthorn's pressure, which forced the extra handball today. So Sam Mitchell came in with a plan. He executed it very well, but as the game went on, his players were just unable to sustain that ferocious pressure that they probably had for the first 3 quarters.
We'll get to our Saturday star now, thanks to Taylor Made. It's Andy Brayshaw. You want to highlight a couple of his efforts here.
This is amazing. This is what you do as a midfielder, and this is the work rate. We'll highlight him there across half-back. Look at him, one effort there at full speed, then he gets to the next contest. Now, he's not going to get this one. Ball turns over, he goes, all right, I'm going to get this ball back for my team, and sprints and calls causes a turnover in the middle of the ground. Does not get a stat for that, but the work rate to go from half-back to half-forward to the middle of the ground, there's him on the wing, late in the game, last 5 minutes. This is why you do your pre-season. So he's across half-back. Here we're going to have to speed this up, but you can imagine how far he has run, where you can see from half-back, he's going to bob up in the forward line and still be strong enough to win a one-on-one contest. Look how strong he is in this contest. And then go forward and kick a really important goal to put Fremantle 2 goals up with just over 5 minutes to play. That is why he's going to lead the coaches' votes probably at the end of this year. That is why he's in clearly All-Australian form and potential Brownlow medal winning form. So Sarong was huge today. We know what Brodie's done. Brayshaw's done it all year. And now Nat Fyfe's back into the team, which we're going to get to.
He had 37 disposals and a goal to go with those efforts, which is why he's incredible. He'll be taking home a tailor-made hat and some golf balls. I think he's a big golfer as well, so he'll be very happy with that, Andy. You did mention Nat Fyfe, though. He was back today, gave him a new partner in the midfield. He finished with 21 disposals and a goal, but he had 10 score involvements.
Started on ball. There it is. There's the second centre bounce of the game. He gets involved and then went to the bench and then came on, midfield, forward. He got involved in the score involvement there. So he did exactly what they needed him to do. His body stood up physically. He was involved in a couple of big sort of crunching tackles. Sicily got him in a big tackle and, you know, he would have felt like he's back to playing AFL footy. So no doubt he'll be sore. I feel like it's been a bit of a humbling experience for Nat Fyfe, who I don't feel like he's short on confidence, but him being out of the side and then performing as well as they have would have been maybe a bit of a dent in his ego, and he's come back and he's spoken about how he just wants to play his role. Good scenes there where he kicks that goal, but yeah, they've just got to manage him through the rest of the season, and he'll be a weapon for them as more of a bit part player than the main man that he's been for the last 12 years.
Blake Acres has been important for them. He left the game with a hamstring injury as well. We've got a Friday night footy at the MCG. We mentioned off the top, Essendon's 150th birthday celebrations. This is how they marked him. Dyson Heppel leading a whole bunch of legends and the playing group in an emotional speech.
So I loved seeing the legends. I did. I thought they did it exceptionally well. And Dyson Heppel, that's putting yourself out there, isn't it, with the legends in the square. And you want to, in the goal square, you want to perform after that. Did they, though? Because we're going to have a look at the first sort of couple of minutes of the game where
this is 30
once
seconds
again...
in.
30 seconds in, right? So this has been their biggest issue. Worst in the comp at defending backline transition of the opposition. 30 seconds in. So watch how easy this is. The space Silvani's got, the space Walsh has got running through the middle of the ground. There's no pressure there at all. Scrubber kick, 3-on-1 inside 50 and another uncontested mark to Martin inside 50. And again, Riley, I mean, we can show many of these as we have done right throughout the year, but where is the pressure coming from behind and from the front? And the whole system breaks down where you can get Curnow marking the ball with 15 metres of space. And this one, look at Newman. So break a tackle, yep, fair enough, young player, Hobbs going at full speed, but then what? He gets it back. So Stringer's right there with him. He just lets him run on through the middle of the ground, uncontested mark. Here we go again. Handball receive, easy, lead up mark inside 50, under no pressure. That's the biggest issue for Ben Rutten right now. Their effort and their intensity around stoppages and around the ball was fine. Defending the backline transition, worst in the game.
That was the most damning one there at the end, I reckon. Jake Stringer made his return. Ben Rutten, not incredibly pleased with his performance. This is him speaking post-match.
Yeah, he had a poor game tonight, and we, you know, as a senior player for us, you know, we need more from him, and hopefully we'll be able to bounce out of that. His prep's been his last couple of weeks. You know, we had the bye. You know, he would have played last week if we didn't have the bye. So, his preparation's been fine.
What do you make of that, Kane? Because it's not too often that a coach puts the acid on a player like he did there.
No, he does. Look, I don't mind it. Spoke honestly. I guess the counter view to that would be, well, he's had a pretty interrupted season, just his 5 games for the year. But I just don't know about Jake's preparation off the field, and maybe they've got more insight, and that's why Ben Rutten can comment like that. But it was strong words, and Jake would be feeling pretty ordinary after listening to that. But that's okay. That's where the Essendon Footy Club is at right now.
Coming into the game, all the attention on Carlton was how their backline would hold up without Jacob Wiedering, Oscar McDonald out, Mitch McGovern as well. But Lewis Young, a player they picked up virtually for nothing from the Western Bulldogs last year, 18 disposals, 14 intercepts and 7 marks. He was awesome, probably one of the best on ground, I think. And I think it's a story as well. We've spoken numerous times throughout the show about the Bulldogs this season, how they've lacked key defenders. Carlton picked him up for virtually nothing.
Yeah, you're all over this. You're all over Will Brodie about 6 weeks before anyone else even realised he was playing for Fremantle. And if I'm a Western Bulldogs fan, I'm going, well, hang on. We've got no bookends. It's Norton and it's nothing. And they've given him up for what? Essentially a nothing draft pick.
I think it was pick 52.
That probably doesn't even get used in the end. So, and he's needed to, hasn't he? Because of the players, Liam Jones, that they've lost, and Wiedering's gone down. Marchbank, great to see him back in the side for his first game in a long time and looked solid, didn't look out of place. But Young was actually really influential on the game.
Yeah.
So Lipinski's gone from the Dogs and Young as well. They'd be thinking, not sure we got those two right.
We're to our AAMI clangers now. We'll start with Richo because we've got to put the heat on him here. What is he doing here? Trying to protect the feathers. Yeah. There's hardly any rain. Look at the radar. There's hardly any rain.
No rain. Toughen up, Richo. No rain there. He's worried about the hair. But we love him and there's actually no rain. Speaking of hair, what is going on?
This is at the Gabba.
What is happening?
During halftime. It looks like they're giving out haircuts in the stands. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. It looks like a good setup just behind the goals. Now, Shea Bolton, he's one of my favourite players to watch in the competition.
Miss of the year?
Miss of the year. No pressure. Top of the goal square. Why didn't he keep running in?
What about my man Alir dropping easy under contested mark as well? We gobbled them up all last season, dropped that, but I can't believe Bolton missed this. And that is a nasty clanger. I mean, there's been a bit spoken about this. Jonas and Butters, they spent 6 and 8 minutes off the field respectively, came on without the official concussion test, but Liam Baker made a few of them look silly.
He did.
He made those two look silly on Thursday night.
He was a pivotal player in the last quarter on Thursday night, Liam Baker. He had a couple of crucial moments when the game was on the line. They led by 26 points. Port got it back, but it always looked like it was heading Richmond's way.
Is he in your All-Australian team?
He'd be in there, but where would you put him? Because he's played at either end at different stages this year.
Good utility to have on the bench, maybe as a sub. But this is the final stages. Port Adelaide hung in there, and Rosie, that's what he can do. I'd love to see more of that from him. I think he's more of a handball first player at the moment. I'd love for him to drive his legs. But this is the man. It was Baker who got the easy clearance there, really under not a lot of pressure, and finished. And a really important win for Richmond, who I still feel like have a level to go. I feel like Tarrant's been a bit of a liability down back. Dusty, the 13 touches in his last 3 weeks haven't been anything spectacular, so he can go again. Tom Lynch comes back into the side. So I just feel like the last fortnight has thought, well, maybe Melbourne aren't as invincible as what we thought they were 2 weeks ago, and maybe there's a premiership there to win for Richmond, and how remarkable would that be?
It was a similar story for Port Adelaide. Once again, they left themselves with too much to do from the start. They've been one of the worst first quarter sides in the competition. They conceded 5 goals in a row in the first term on Thursday night.
Not sure what's happening there. It's clearly they're aware of it because I've done interviews with everyone from the club and they know it. They've tried to do all sorts of different things in the warm-up and pre-game and all of that, and nothing has really worked. It's just too hard to win when you put yourself in a position like that. They've done a great job at coming back, particularly against the likes of Carlton. That was an epic comeback, and on Thursday night was impressive, but too little too late.
Tigers have Carlton and Geelong in the next fortnight. You'd have to think if they navigate that, they're on track for
the next 3 weeks from memory gets a little bit easier after that as well. So, if they can get just one of those next 2, they're in a really good spot.
Head to a West round now. It's going to be an interesting game on Sunday. You'd think the Giants would start overwhelming favourites there, but then the big one, Queen's birthday footy, Monday, Collingwood against Melbourne. That'll be a big one in the annual Freeze MND game.
Can you have a word to your mates at the AFL? The only game in Melbourne on the Sunday is that horror show that we're about to have tomorrow. So we've got to sort that out, but hopefully it's made up for it on Monday. And a fascinating one for Melbourne, isn't it? With everything that's gone on and off the field. Can they produce something without May once again and Collingwood in really good form? We've got our Fight MND beanies on. It's a great cause. Head to the URL below and donate. Buy a beanie as much as you can. We're looking to raise over $2 million. We've already raised just a tick over $500,000. Get behind it. It's a great cause. Kane, it's been another great weekend of footy. Hopefully we've got a couple more good games in store as well.
Good on you, mate. Lewis Young, nice pickup by you.
Speak to you soon.